Hi, just a quick follow-up to finish. Are we happy with the camper? Yes. Have there been some issues? Yes, but they've all been fixed. Star Vision have been really good. The guys at the service area have fixed everything. The only thing we've got after this last trip still probably is it looks like a couple of the shock absorbers leaked again. We did have two of those replaced. I don't think the imported shock absorbers are very good. We will probably look at whether we can get better ones installed or how we go about doing something there. The wiring, I upgraded the wiring that goes back from the car. It would be sufficient. If you're going to a caravan park or something, be fine. The little bit of driving during the day and stuff, no problems at all. But if you're doing a lot of off-grid camping or free camping, you need to make sure that if you're in 2 to 3 hours in the car, it's going to fully charge. They put the diesel heater on the same circuit as our fridge. I don't think the wiring handles both very well, and I think the fridge wiring may need to be looked at. We did have an electrical fault that got fixed. The fridge struggles. If you look at the voltmeter on the fridge, it's saying it's down at 10.8 volts and it's virtually turning off on eco mode, and the battery readout inside is still saying 13 volts. So the only reason we would be getting that sort of drop is if the wiring's not up to scratch. I'll discuss that as well to see what we can do about that. Besides that, it's been really good. There's been a few little niggles, but every camper has that. For an imported camper, it works well. It is, as we were told, it is half the price of anything Australian made. There have, little issues with it, with the kitchen and things. If the weather's horrible and you've got the awning put away, cooking outside is a little bit of a pain. I don't mind rugging up on a bit of gear and cooking outside. Those nights, I happily stood outside in all the gear and cooked when it was cold and horrible. We will look at trying to do some sort of tent that works off the kitchen door. We may be able to put something like is used for the ensuite, something that drops down quickly that just blocks the wind out. Even on two sides would be fantastic, so you can cook and be out of the rain. We did have an issue where the wind sprung up really suddenly, really strong. We were putting the awning away and it was trying to lift as we took all the pegs out. Luckily, we had people grabbing hold of it because it was trying to lift up. I can see how wind out awnings get ripped and torn off the top of roofs really easily. But having said that, the wind out awning is much nicer to use than putting lots of poles and pegs up. In the fold forward we had, trying to connect up the awning poles was a pain. With this, you wind it out, the internal two legs drop down. I should do a video later of putting the awning up, but it's a pretty standard awning. You wind it out, you drop the two legs down, you guy those, you put some pegs into the bottom of those poles. I then put a guy off where the end is and guy that down as well, and you're basically set to go. There is a channel in there so you can slide in another privacy screen or a shading screen, and we've done that and it works really well. The camper goes up in minutes. Best thing about it, compared to the fold forward, we've pulled up and we've been in bed in half an hour. We've pulled up late somewhere, or we've pulled up. Within 15 minutes, you've got the camper. As you can see how quick the lid goes up. You pull up. If you're not disconnecting it from the car, you drop the legs and get it roughly level. By the time you've done that, somebody has basically undone the latches. You lift the lid up and we throw the pillows in and we can go to bed. I can have the kettle on in 10-15 minutes, no problems at all, and everything's set up. We do have a floor we put down. It's like dual shade cloth, I guess, triple layer shade cloth, one of these ones where the sand goes right through. It is much, much lighter and smaller than the big rubberized one we've been using. That one weighed a ton and we've stopped using it. The seats, they're very upright. It's a vertical setup. You end up getting a little bit of a sort of back and shoulders because of the steep angle. I may look to see whether I can slide the cushions forward and just slide a board in behind it to give it a little bit of an angle so your lower back actually does get some support, because at the moment with these only your shoulders touch the top, and it does get a little bit sore sitting a long time. The leatherette and stuff looks alright. The table bench tops look quite good. The colour scheme did change from when we ordered it to when we got it, which was a little bit of a shock to see the fake wood grain look compared to the black marble. We've got used to it. It's not too bad. The floor, you probably saw the carpet didn't look great on the floor. That's actually a piece of marine carpet or outdoor carpet that we've put down over the top of the existing carpet, so we can try keep it all a bit cleaner. You could maybe go vinyl, but some carpet under feet is very nice. You get up in the morning to put down on the carpet, it feels much nicer. The rug on the front door is a great idea. We just shake that out when we're done. That's about it. When we leave it stored, I either leave the 240 volts connected and turn everything else off, or I have been just leaving the 12 volt panel connected, turned off the 240 and just let the solar panels charge via the regulator. The regulator has gone up to 15 volts a couple of times, which has got me a little bit worried. It shouldn't be cycling quite that high, but I can't find an adjustment to make it any lower. I will upgrade the controller probably once it's out of warranty. That's definitely a must. The water has been pretty good. The pressure and stuff's pretty good. It's easy to fill. We filled up once and then topped up again in the whole 8 weeks we were away. We only had used a bit over one lot of tank, or not quite even a tank when we did. What happens with the gauge is you seem to just run off the rear tank initially. The rear tank gets to about half, and then once the rear tank drops under half full, it starts to siphon from the front tank into the back tank. So it does look a bit odd at times, and then once you're driving, it does seem to slowly equal itself out partly. They don't sit on equal. Just something to be aware of. Tows nicely. These models have got a longer drawbar, so it's a higher ball weight, but having said that, it's still only around 10% of the total weight, and it tows really nicely. We didn't have a problem. To be honest, coming back, we had to do the big dash across New South Wales from Queensland to come back to Victoria, and we were sitting on pretty well 100k, virtually 100k an hour all the way back, and it towed really nicely. Being only 210 roughly high, it sits quite nicely behind the car. There is not as much drag as a lot of other caravans, and it tows really nicely. There's been a few things with water coming in a few spots, as I showed you. We've got to work around whether they're just not sealing the rubber or whether we need to do some things there. We could do, the windows have fly screen and the full block out, but there's no plastic, so you can't have the light coming in but not the cold. We'll look at whether we can work out some way to fit some plastic in there so we can do that. Minor thing. It warms quite nicely. In winter it warms up pretty fast with the heater running. In summer it stays reasonably cool with the insulated roof. You do get condensation. I will be honest, the vinyl sides and the polished roof, you end up with a bit of condensation depending on how humid a night it is to how much condensation. Some nights we got none at all, some nights it was quite wet, and one night at Carnarvon Gorge the condensation froze in the morning when it was -4 on the inside. Yes, it was cold. So that, but having said that, you just wipe it over with one of those super cloth things, fibre pole cloths. You wipe most of it off and you run the heater for a short bit or wait for a little bit of sun to come out, and you can pack up. The camper packs up really fast. Our old fold forward we would take an hour and a half. Even if we put a fair bit of stuff away in the morning, it would still take us an hour and a half to 2 hours before we left camp. It should never have taken us that long. I think the best we got it to was about an hour when we had next to nothing out. When we haven't had the additional tent to put away, we've been, especially the morning we did the dash, we managed to pack up and get away in 30 minutes. That included having a cup of tea. So the camper is really fast to put away. All you got to do is pull the pillows down, throw some stuff. If you've got a mat outside, throw that down. If you put the awning away the night before you leave, there's virtually nothing. You drop the lid, you do the clips back up. Just keep an eye that it hasn't caught anywhere, as I said, as you put it down just quickly. And you're right to go. Once you've hooked it up, off you go. And it tows really well. There's 2 little lights up on the side, which threw me a little bit at first. 2 white lights up on the corners just to show you where the edges of the campers are, which you get used to and are really good. There is no reversing light. I don't believe it's a standard thing you have to include, but just be aware there is no reversing light, there's no reversing camera. I've got a reversing camera on the back of the car, small one I installed, and it makes hooking it up so much easier. We can virtually drive up and then we can drop the thing straight on from there. All in all, are we happy? Yes. Would we buy another one? Yes. There are lots of hybrids on the market. Have a good look around. They've all got their pros, they've all got their cons. There are good and bad points with all of them. There are good and bad ideas with all of them. The number of people we talked to when we're away who had issues with something with whatever they got. So as long as the crowd are happy to look after your camper and fix the problems, I don't think you've got an issue. This crowd are really good. We've been really happy with Star Vision at Dandenong. Yeah, all in all, it's a good camper. We love it. Moving up from tents and camper trailers, we've been camping for I've been camping since I was about 6, so it's going on 50 years worth of camping. This is the most luxurious thing we've had. It is very nice. It made it so nice to just pull up, pull out and get started cooking. Just remember to do the gas bottles, to turn the gas off before you go, and to make sure the latch is on. It's only once we pulled away from camp, having both of us forgotten to walk around the last time and check the latches were done up. We soon spotted that in the rear mirror and stopped and did them up. Not had any other issues. The batteries are all charged pretty well. The solar, part of the DC to DC charger I have has a solar input, and I have an external solar panel. The number of times we happened to camp somewhere near a tree that happened to just give us shade for most of the day on the solar panels was unbelievable. Having said that, putting the additional solar panel out worked a treat to keep the batteries charged up. Once we worked out if the panels were in shade, we'd put the extra panels up. It charged without a problem. Apart from that, it's all been good. So hope that's answered a few of your questions. All in all, we're very happy. Okay, thank you.